Hi, I'm Ken, and I'm going to show you in this video how we put together a 3-drawer base cabinet body. We'll just do the body in this video, and I'll do a separate video on how we build our drawers later. Thank you. Here we go. So again, our boxes come in 2 sections. The white boxes is our face frame with our doors and drawer faces. Our brown box basically is our cabinet body with our hardware inside it. So let's get started here. So basically inside we got 2 side panels, and usually I like to have the toe kick area facing me for some reason. You know, you'll find a way yourself that you get more comfortable with. And we got our toe kick panel. We have 3 boxes for our drawers or hardware, and then we got our hardware pieces, and we got our back panel, and here's our other side panel. So I set that across from here, and I will glue it up first before I put my hardware pins in your Camlock sections. These are what they call a Camlock RTA assembled cabinet. Now, usually you want a good bead of glue down there, but not too much where when you put it in it bleeds out the edges. And if it does, you just wipe it off. And I like to use a damp rag. It's much easier. So here's our little box of goodies. You just get that open here. And I like to cut the lid off so when I'm moving it around I don't knock it over by accident. So inside your little package you get is you'll have 4 of these plastic corner brackets that hold your cabinet together, what helps it keep it more square. Then you got a little baggie here full of all your cam parts and screws and your little bumpers that you'll need. So basically what I do is we already got that glued up there. Is now I'll stick our pins in. It's easier to glue it first, so that way when you're running your glue down there, you're not hitting these pins with your hand, and just makes it a little bit of a pain. But then again, you know, you find your best way of assembling them yourself. Once you get your pins in there, you take your back panel, and you can see it's got a groove in here. You want that to line up because that's the base of your cabinet for your bottom. So you slide that in, you line them up. Sometimes it takes a bit to find it, but you'll eventually find the hole. Okay. Grab your flathead screwdriver, I find works the best. Some of my guys use a Phillips because that's what they prefer. And then I didn't line up my arrows like I showed in other videos. Now you got a minus sign and a plus sign with an arrow on it. And you want it facing this edge of your cabinet, so when it goes in, it slides in nice. And then you just give her a good half turn till it clicks or it feels like it's locked in. And the same with this side here. Okay, so you got that one done. Now what I'll do is on that panel, I guess I could have glued it before I put it on, but you just run a bit of glue in there as well. And you'll notice on the back panel, it has a hole right here, and that kind of holds your back panel in place while you're putting your other side of your cabinet on. On your base panel that goes in, it has a groove on one end. Now this groove has to always face the inside of your cabinet because that's how it fits into our solid wood face frame. So we're going to put that in place, and then what I do is I grab one of these screws. Are about an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and an eighth long. I can't remember exact measurement of it. And there's a hole there that it goes into. And then you just want to screw that in. You can use a Phillips hand screwdriver or use a drill. That way it holds it in place there for you while you put your other parts on. So now you take your other panel, you pick it up, flip it around, line your cam leg into your cam locks holes. Put her down, make sure your shell fits into your groove on the side of that panel. And again, I didn't line them up, which is fine. And you just turn it till it slides in nice. Push down, turn your cam, push down and turn your cam. And again, that's all you need to do if you're a homeowner. But then again, you can also screw it at the same time as well. And what I'll do is I'll put one screw here. Always drill a pilot hole, one in the middle, and one in between your cam and the bottom. And again, I use an 1 5/8" number 6 screw, because they're easier to get. Usually you're 1.5" or they're number 8, which are a bit fatter. I like the thinner ones, number 6, for when I'm doing this. Now you can either put that in if you have a drill. Most homers nowadays do have a little drill. Okay, so we got that done. Now what you can also do too is, because I'm in a shop, what I do is I like to speed things up, is I have an air gun, a stapler, and they're 1.5" long, 1/4" crown staple, and I'll just shoot one in between your cam and the bottom of your cabinet, and at the top, in between your cam and the top, and then being staples, instead of just putting one in the middle, I like to put 2. So if you are a cabinet installer of, promoting and installing a lot of and building RTA cabinets, you might have your garage set up as I have my shop set up here. So once your box is put together, I flip it up, and I will now open, you can put your base panel on first. I mean, it's the same thing. It has cam locks that you can put in there. But, I got my gun right here, so it's a lot quicker anyhow. So I'll just shoot it in, right? Or you could screw it in, or you could just use the cam lock, your preference. I'm just trying to speed along here, so I'll be using the cam lock. Now I've got to open up my other box here so I can get my face frame out of there. So inside these boxes, we have your 3 drawer bottoms. They are 3/8 of an inch thick. A lot of cabinet shops use 1/4 inch. Some do use 3/8 as well. And then we have your drawer panels, or your box, I mean. So I'll try to sort them out a little bit. And then inside, you have your face frame and your doors, or pardon me, your drawer faces that are wrapped up. So you just want to carefully take them out. You got your face frame. Set her down on some protective material. I got my carpet here, so that's fine there. There's no glue or anything on it, so there's nothing on there really that's going to scratch it. I try to keep it clean all the time. Or you can take a piece of that foam, the wrapping out of there, and you can set it down on a piece of cardboard that the cabinet comes in, the box, and use that as well. We got that. We slip our cam locks again in, just like we did to our body. And again, you want to slide these down. You don't want to go too deep, because if you go too deep, then these pins here are too low and your cam lock's not going to grab them. So that one there I pushed down by accident a little bit too low, as well as this one. So you just wiggle it back and forth a little bit and pull it back up. Usually I try to keep this top base of this pin here just a hair above. So that way when I push it down, then it will automatically fit down to the size it needs to. Sometimes they fit pretty tight, so you got to wiggle them to get them back in as well. What I've done in the past too is you can get yourself a socket from your wrench kit and get the right size to fit down on here, and makes it a little bit easier to tap them sometimes. Okay, so now there is, since this is a drawer base, it's not open frame here. So, and it has a base, doesn't have a top, so it has to go on a certain way. And of course, you got your smaller drawer is always at the top of your cabinet, so that will be at the top of your cabinet. So you line up your holes, drop them in place. Okay. Again, I didn't line up my pins. It doesn't matter. You can line them up ahead of time, or You can do it later. Doesn't really matter. Something here. Sometimes they want to fight with you. You just got to overwhelm them, give it a little knock. So usually what I did, there you go, lines right up. You're not being rough with your cabinet at all when you're hitting it the way I am. It just makes things go for you. That one there wants to be stubborn for some reason. There we go. See, again, this plywood here was bowed a little bit and I didn't quite notice it. So it was hitting this part of your frame. There's a groove that this has to slide into. And I just pushed it in here a little bit and it slid down nicely. So it's just finding out where it's holding back on you. This one here, I'm going to have to give it a bit of persuasion. I use a rubber mallet. There you go, a little tap. Knocks her down nice and easy. There, with that is good because it showed you a couple dilemmas that we kind of ran into that you might run into now and again. So here's your base cabinet put together. So now again, we're going to put our corner blocks in to keep the cabinet square. So I'm just going to set this down on the ground here because it's going to make it easier for me. So here's your corner brackets, and I just misplaced my knife. Here it is. So you'll see on these corner brackets, there's a little lip, and usually they sit down. I guess it just helps you line it up, but I don't like them because then it keeps your cabinet or your countertop from not being tightened down properly. So what I do is I just cut them off. And then these plastic ones, I like to just use them on the front because all it's doing is helping keeping your cabinet square. And on the back, I pre-made blocks, but you don't have to. You can use these on the back too. It's entirely up to you. Everybody does things just a little bit different than each other. Grab my drill. So these blocks here, you want to keep this hollow section facing up, and this is more solid here facing down. And usually I'll keep it down just a hair from the top of the cabinet so it doesn't interfere with any of my countertop installation. There's preset holes in the little plastic 45 corners, so you don't have to worry about there. I pull it in tight here, which will help keep your cabinet square. Pop these off. Do the other side. Usually building cabinets goes a lot quicker than it is in a video, because a video, you know, I'm kind of talking and trying to go by steps that I do, and by all means I'm not perfect when it comes to doing a show and tell thing, but I think we're doing pretty good, and you all get the idea. So we got the front end on the back, and these cabinets, they're all a 5/8, 15 millimeter thick plywood, 9 layers, birch finish inside. Okay, so now on the inside, I'm going to put some blocks, my wood blocks in there that I'll show you. Our wood blocks, I take a 1x4 usually and rip it in half, get about 1 3/4 inches, and I cut them about 3.5 inches long. Just a measurement that I started doing. Now I'll set one on the inside corner here, and again I keep it down just a little bit. I keep my screw back from the edge about 5/8 of an inch. Now you may not have a whole bunch of drills like I do, but that's okay. You just have to change out your bits now and again, but usually we do have a couple of bits at home. This is just a number 6 countersink bit. And then I'll screw them in with a number 6 1 5/8 wood screw. One on that side. One over here. You've probably seen me screw these on doing a couple different steps. Sometimes I'll just do one hole, put it in, and I'll do the other hole. Sometimes I'll drill all 3 holes and I'll pop the 3 screws in and grab my drill, and again, you're going to find whatever way is most comfortable for you if you decide to use wood blocks. Me being more of a shop, doing complete sales, a showroom, and I like to make my cabinets put back together. So here's your box all complete. So again, you can staple down the side here to make it stronger if you wish, or you can screw it down the side and make it wish. So that's the end of our session of putting together a 3-drawer box cabinet. So now what we're going to do is your hardware. You need to get your hardware in, and I like to put my hardware in after my box is built. I've seen some people, they like to put their hardware on before they build their box. But what happens though, if you put your hardware on before, your drawer glides will stick past the edge of this cabinet, and when you're putting this face frame down, it's easy to scratch it up that way. So I like to wait and do it later. So over here we got our 3 packages with our drawer glides. So I'm going to break these videos up. So I'm going to install these 3 glides just on the cabinet now, and then we're going to do another video later for assembling your drawer and putting your clips on. So inside this box here, you got your 2 glides, and then there should be a little box in here, little bag full of your drawer clips and screws. So you just want to take that. So now, this is the bottom. There's one for one side, one for the other side. So this will go in like that. It's not too hard to figure out. It already has 3 holes here, but it has 6 holes here and 6 holes here. The reason why we only have 1 set here and 2 rows here and 2 rows here of pre-drilled holes is because we have, these are a generic box, body box that we have. And we have different drawer faces and door faces from different manufacturers, and some of them are just slightly a different size of a drawer or a door. So we have 2 holes here to accommodate for that. And it's really easy, you know, if you have to just set up a drawer against you and you can kind of figure out which one lines up with which one. But on this cabinet, the white shaker cabinet, you always screw to your top line of holes, just so you know. So when you're putting these in here, they come with these little tiny screws. They're called a pre-drilled hole screw, and they are probably about a number 10. So basically what I like to do is I like to put glue in these holes just to ensure that these glues will never come loose for a very, very long time, stay in there forever for the purchaser of the cabinet, the homeowner. So I'm just going to put a dab of glue in these holes here. So I like glue. And sometimes, you know, your wife might have come up to you and found a screw on the floor, and she says, "Honey, I found this screw on the floor. I don't know where it came from." He says, "I don't know either." He says, "Maybe just put it in that drawer and we'll figure it out one day." And then all of a sudden one day she opens up her drawer and her drawer falls out. And then I think maybe that's where that screw came from. So if you actually glue this in here, your screws won't back out. I mean, sometimes they don't back out, but sometimes they do. So it's nicer to be cautious. Now, the front of this here does not go tight to your face frame. It's always back a little bit. And it's very easy to know which hole it lines up with. Just go by your 3 holes. So just use your center hole. Line up your center hole first, and then the other ones will line up automatically for you, and you know which hole it is that goes in here. So I'll quickly throw them in there. And they're done with a Robinson, or pardon me, a Phillips bit. So we'll get that in. And a mist. Get another box going here. Sometimes I get lucky and I'll cut the tape on the right end and have my package, my little clips and whatnot at the top. A little bag of screws. Put them out of our way. Now these, I have a little bit of oil on them. That's what keeps them protected, looked after. We'll grab the right one. Oh, why was that in there? There we go. So I'll just line this one up. I might as well set this one in place as well. I'll just put the glides on the one side for now. And usually on a 3-drawer base cabinet, once you get going on it, it will take you approximately 40-45 minutes to put it together from start to finish with your drawers sitting inside it. But as you can see by the video, looks like it takes a lot longer, and that's because we're kind of taking it in steps and showing you how things are done. You can always fast forward your video on sections like this to get to your next section. That way you're not sitting in front of your computer all day. See how you'd assemble in a cabinet. Got that side done. I will flip it over. Move them out of the way. So again, we'll get some glue in these holes. I'll just line them all up. That way I'm doing one stage kind of at a time instead of setting down a drill and picking up a drill. And they take 3 screws, one in the back, one in the middle, one at the front. Let's get that front one first. It's easier to see. If there's no glue in the hole, then it's easier to see the hole, but you'll eventually find them. I like to put in 1 screw at the front first. Sometimes it makes it a bit easier. Put 1 at the back. That one lined up. And then do your center one. Oh, I got that one in the wrong spot here. See what happened? I put that in the wrong channel there for some reason. Wasn't paying attention. Just going to slide it down to where it's supposed to be. Now my center one will work. Sometimes these heads aren't very good on these screws. Either that or my drill bit is wearing out. Come on. And after I get these screws in, I like to put in a secondary screw, and I use them short 1/2-inch screws that come in the box as well. And it helps hold your face frame better on too if you don't trust your cam locks 100%. Is I have this self-tap drill for drilling holes and keeping it in the center of the hole that's provided in your hardware there, and it's a 5/64 bit. So when you drill and you push it in, the drill bit sticks out and it puts the hole in, holds it center for you. So I'll put in 1 in the face frame. I'll put an extra 1 in the back here, just to give it an extra screw. Put 1 in the front of each face frame. And you can see how easy it is instead of trying to sit there with a drill bit and line it up. Get her centered for you. She does her a lot quicker that way. So now put this first one in here in the front. And them holes are so small, I won't put glue in them. And the screws will be fine on that. It's just them bigger self cabinet screws they send. They're certain screws, and they are good screws, don't get me wrong, but I like to put glue in them ones. And that's it for putting your drawer glides on. That'll be the end of this section of assembling your 3-drawer base cabinet.